it's Xavier down the bottom of the garden, and it's Jaded Jeudi. I think that's Thursday. I apologise for my pronunciation, and these are all my jaded jades, and they have every right to be, because truly I keep taking cuttings, I keep lopping bits off them, but I really don't plan, and I thought I'm going to have a go. So these, all of these, and there's still some more up the top of the garden that are less than this, have all come from that tree. Oh, and that tree. So I've had two trees that were actually purchased, and I got that, which is, in fact, let's clear the deck, shall we? Okay, that's looking a little bit clearer. So this one here, which is this big monster there, yeah, so not a touch on what we've got down in sunny Cornwall. That one I purchased from someone on eBay, and I think I paid £19 for it, or £12 for it, but I got a really nice Erin pot, which is what I was really interested in, so I got the pot. From that have literally come, well, you can see all the ones, all of these have come as well of cuttings from these, and to be honest, there's some pretty interesting standalone trees, I'd say. I just really don't know what to do with them. And then I had a go at styling, and it's a nice basic structure. The problem I've got is they're indoors, so I've got to put them in little ceramic pots because I need drip trays. Because I keep taking cuttings, I just get more and more and more. And I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to sell them. So I am actually going to be selling these sort of size jades later in the year, I'd imagine. Goodness knows what for, I have no idea what they'd cost. And this is one I'd actually made, and this is from a personal collection. Again, just 5 little cuttings from this one. But again, I've got to do some radical stuff. Today's about being radical with jades because they're jaded. And if I haven't released the bonsai top 7 in under 7, then you'll hear about this on that. But this is this was a gift for my wife. Gee, I loved her, didn't I? Can you see? How better to say I love you? Right, anyway, so we're going to do some pruning. We are going to start with that. I've decided I need to be ruthless, don't I? I need to cut back, because I've seen enough videos that show me that with jade, they really do well from being cut heavily. So, taking a leaf out of Nigel's book, we've got, I don't know, all the branches are in such a bad place with this tree. I mean, it really was literally dying at B&Q, and I don't know whether I saved it or not. Is that going to be kept? I'm going to lose that. That actually isn't a bad idea. Thinking about it, because the line of that, it's all pretty, yeah, that's going to be what I'm going to do. So, there we go. Do you like my shears? Yeah, that'll be the first and last time we do that. But, see? I'll clean that up nicely now. Okay. See, already I'm thinking cutting, aren't I? So if I'm saying that's the line, let's just clean that cut up. Now you can wire these, but I'm not going to. Should I be brutal, everybody? Should I be brutal and just do that? There's no point going there, being brutal to there. Depends how tall I want. I don't even know where the front is yet. Right, I don't like that. I don't like that really. Oh, mind you, don't like that. So we're getting to there. See, it's already. I've got to decide. I think I'm already deciding what's happening here. Presume if I cut it right here, like say if I did something like that, it would just grow back, because it always does on Nigel. Whenever Nigel does it, always does. So let's just. In fact, let's do that. Which means I've really got to get nervous of what I've done here. I think that's too long really, isn't it? Wonder whether the tree should actually go along that way. It's a bit weeny now. Well, I'm going to just be ruthless again. I'm going to take that off too. in for a penny, in for a pound, I suppose. I could just take that off as well, couldn't I? There we go. Right, so clearly utilising all of my expert design skills, my knowledge, and what I've picked up from experts like Nigel, I've come up with this as the solution. Do you know what? Even that's wrong. I've come up with that as the solution. A bit smaller than it originally was. But I think there might be hope. I fear this may be a live stream. I can see this being worth it. Because this is going to get worse. Right, so that's the first one done. This one. Now this has got a lovely, lovely shape. Look, got loads of little... I'm going to go smaller on this. So we've got this one now. Loads of little buds all coming down the bottom. We don't want them. Rub them off. But we have got a lovely little bit of movement here. So there's definitely a little bit of trunk movement, and we've also got a bit of taper. And then we've got this, goes off in this great big monster. Don't like big leaves like that. So the answer is probably we want two coming from these points, don't we? We've got nice bifurcation there, but truly that's what we want here. So I suppose here we go. Got a nice bifurcation. We like bifurcation. So I presume we'll do the same here. And you know what's coming next, don't you? And we'll do another little chop here. We'll just take that off. Look at that. We know there's something wrong here. So going by that, that's actually quite... Moving on that. Do I go as short or shorter? Do you know what? Let's take it back to there. Okay, so a lot of thought went into that. I think I've created an interesting design out of that. I probably don't need these on there. Okay, that's number 2 done. This is going to be really quick. And the last of the ones that I've actually planned. Planned, yeah, right. So we've got a little something growing out of the bottom there. No idea what's going to happen with that. So what have we got? First of all, we've got another little something growing out of the bottom here. Get rid of that. I'm going to keep that because I don't know why. Right. So our problem here, if I want to keep it, I actually want to make this as a little 5-tree planting, which means it's probably going to be up this high, but I need to be getting some... Right, so that's easy. I talk like that, don't I? I don't actually tell you what I'm trying to find. So let's get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. That's probably a good idea to have, actually. We've got down here, we probably... I'll do that. Line of the tree. Line of the tree, like I know what I'm talking about. Truthfully, we know what has to happen. That's that done. So we've got this little thing here. We don't need. Okay, we'll just, let's be honest, that's all we're going to do there. Okay, very two-dimensional. Let's get rid of some of these lower. So it actually looks like we've got a little tree there. It's really quite easy, isn't it? Because that, for the size tree, that is going to be far too long if anything grows through it, so I need to be bringing it right back, don't I? But if I bring it too far back, then it's going to be 3 from one junction, so I do actually have to give it some space. Let's just take that one back off. Okay. I'm not sure whether I should be taking these lobes off or not, to be honest. I know, to be fair, I know sometimes I've taken the whole lot off and it's been fine. So I do sort of know I'm relatively confident. Okay, so that's that. Bringing the height down. So if we go scale-wise, What have we got under there? Well, it's hard to tell what we've got. Don't want that, that's getting in the way. That's particularly unattractive. Don't like that straight branch there. But what would you do, Nigel? What would you do? Do you know what? There we go. Right, so we've cut that off. Now we've got this one here. It's easier to see it from here. Let's get rid of this big pear. Okay. See, it's when they're taller it's easier to decide. Looking at scale, we're trying to get that fat, relatively fat to the size of the pot. So there's too much growth there. So let's get that off. Could actually get some good movement in here. I hope you can see a lot of this. Yeah, so it'd be nice to be able to show you from there, although it took me twice as long to do the editing. Okay, so let's see what we've got. We've got two there. Oh look, this is easy. This is just another cut off, isn't it? Same here. Same here, to be honest. I am being quite ruthless. Okay. These are nice in this pot, by the way. Right. Really. That's it. Okay. So, again, lots of thought went into that, but that's now where we're at, and let's see what develops from that. I think what makes this easier for me is that I haven't spent anything on any of these, so yeah, like it. Okay, so that's 3 done. You know which one we're going for now. Okay. This used to be Lion Rock. I had a big lion that sat there and I broke its leg. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, when I look at it, there's some lovely individual trees all in their own right, and I think sometimes we can all fall into that trap of when we do plantations or forests or whatever. We often put the trees that we like least in there, whereas actually the truth is that you want the nice trees in there because you want people to be looking at the trees. And I mean, that's a nice big tree, but this has got lovely shape, and this has become interesting. And then you look at these twin trunks here, 2 twin trunks, and then this single here. So they're actually nice, and truthfully the real problem with this composition isn't the trees, it's this really expensive Chinese pot I've put it in, this square, this sort of rectangular thing. And the reason again is because I know I've got to bring it indoors, so whatever I pick has got to have a tray. So I want to repot it this year, and I may still, but I haven't got a pot with a tray. So for now I'm just going to cut it, give it a good brutal cutting, and I might actually look for a pot. And then we've got 1, 2 twin trunks, that counts as 4 trees, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. I could actually end up putting a couple more trees in there. So anyway, let's cut this back, and then what I'll do is I'll show you what I've done with all the rest at the end, so this doesn't stretch on forever. The small one, I suppose I have to cut back, although I quite like it. The truth is that one really needs to come back here, doesn't it? Okay. In for a penny, in for a pound. And if I was honest, that there is going to be facing this way, so I have a branch going this way if it goes. So really, I ought to just get rid of it. Okay, so that's that one done. Now we move to this one. Again, a very nice tree. Let's see what I can do to ruin it. We've got the basic structure, 1 going to 2, going to 2. this side branch, just think about it proportion wise. I'm not sure this tree actually fits in with this great thing, and I know I've got this off to the left. I think I'll have fun with the composition, and if anyone, while they watch me doing this, has bright ideas about how these compositions could be, you can talk about the two twin trunks and then two standards and that, but where would you put this monster? Truth is, I think the rock probably gets too much space. Right, same thing, what have we got going on here? Let's get that right out. Okay. Coming here. It's probably easier than I thought. And then here. I don't know, basically the site of each cut, like here, that was the original cut I made last year, and from that you had two come out. So everywhere that I've done these cuts I should get two corresponding growths coming from. And I'm also experimenting. There's a few of these I'm cutting in different ways, and I'm going to watch and see how the growth comes out. Okay, so we've got that, which means we now need to pull this one back a little bit. Oh, that's easy. Same with that. You can see, I don't know if you can see here, buds all over the place. So I am actually going to potentially get a lot of places that are going to come out on this tree that may well change my future ideas for this. Do I want something coming out here? Truthfully, we need to cut that back. Okay, so that's that tree done. I'm going to be following the same principle going around, so we'll come back to these in a second. So that's 1, 2, 3. This one. So we've just got these two to do. This twin trunk here. Of course, we're going to be in Xavier motion. Scary. Right. The monster. Now this could still end up being a tree in its own right, in its own pot, to be fair. So I've got to bear that in mind. So let's have a look at basic structure. If I was going for a front, it's probably there. Because here we've got branches coming towards. Okay, have I got any obvious 3s and 2s coming from main junction? So there's the main trunk coming up. Right, splits. Just 2. Then that trunk comes up. That branch comes up. Splits 1 to 2 to 2 to 2 to 2. You can tell I've been pruning this actually, because all we've got are 2s. So in its own right, that's fine. Here. 2, 2, 2, that's a bit of a yucky one, I don't like that very much there. Okay, so we need to sort it though, I need to decide where the front is. I'm wondering there's a branch in here I might do with coming out. It's a big decision. I'm thinking of taking this one out. If that's the front there, I've just thought, this is easy. Let's cut this back to basics first, because there's a lot of branches that are too long, and then I can look at them and see if those branches are what I want. So, starting from here, again, we've got great big gangly stuff, so let's just cut that right back. And already, unless I'm going to wire that out, whatever comes is going to be too far up. See that branch going, but so we're actually going to chop it right back there. Okay, right. If that branch goes, then that allows, I like some of the branches in there though. Oh, this isn't easy. Could wire it. This crosses with that, so I'm afraid of what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if anything grows out of that. Gosh. How to destroy a tree, and how much did I pay for it? £19, did I say? Okay, this branch is far too leggy, so this will be too leggy. You know what? In for a penny, in for a pound, I think. Here. It's going out far too far. Oh, what am I doing? I am truly upset at the moment. I'm really not sure what I'm doing. If it wasn't for the fact that I know this will just bud again, I probably wouldn't be quite so brutal on it. I can see lots of little bud sites on this, to be honest, so I'm not. See, even there, I can see a little buddly wants to come out. It's still quite high. Probably should be lower down where that's coming out from. It's leggy, so that's got to go back. That's actually from quite a weak stump there. I hope you're not saying nasty things in the comments right now. Maybe this shouldn't be a live stream. Gosh. So there's a little red bud there as well, so this one. See, one of the few that's actually got 3 from the junction, so I've got to decide what to do here. To know that, I really need to. Maybe I take the middle one out. Maybe I should take this middle one out. That's not the front, that's coming towards, so. This one is the one that's causing me concern because it's that thickness and then it keeps going up. It splits that way, but it's looking at where the possible front. I'm thinking the front of that tree could be here, which means if I remove that whole top part, any angle of that tree where that branch makes sense. The only way it makes sense is if the front is there, so that becomes the back branch. That means we've got this here, it's coming all the way towards us. Which case does that get removed? If I take the middle one out, I'm going to get more growth from there. It goes that way versus that. There's an opening for a front in there, I think. Unusual. But it'll open out that, if that bushes out, now that I've cut everything off, that could actually be front. I can see a front in there, although it's leaning towards us. If it's potted right, you won't necessarily see it. I don't know. Got a nice bud coming up there, which means I'm going to take that whole top off. I don't think there's much left to cut on this, is there? That way. So we're looking into there as the front. It's hard with all these others, but yeah, definitely that line could work. Let's just take that right off. I think I'm done. Okay, so as it stands, that's what's left. And I'm convinced that if Nigel had his wicked way with it, there would have been even less. I mean, there was part of me going, well, do you know, I'm going to cut there, and I'm going to cut there, and then bring it right back to a stump and let it grow again, but that will be compactor, definitely, and same here. So this is lion rock without the lion. I've got to get the lion back on there actually, because it is lion rock, that's the name of this. Okay, well, I have no idea where my lion's gone. I used to have a big lion there. So instead it's now going to be elephant rock. His little trunk. So I shall epoxy Mr. Elephant onto that rock, I think. Looks like he's wiping his bottom. Yeah. Blends in with the jades actually, doesn't he? The way I cut my jades, I think he'll be looking like a jade soon enough. So anyway, that was, I've been putting that off for a number of years, so hopefully that receives some encouragement in the comments, or at least some words. Right, I'm going to quickly scoot through the rest and then I'll show you the whole lot in one big go. Okay, that was a massacre, absolute massacre, but that's what's left. If they weren't jaded before, they pretty well are now. That is what the cuttings came from. That'd make an interesting one, I'd imagine. Great big long ones. To be honest, there's a few here that I quite like the look of. But the trouble is, I've got so many jades and I've got so few windowsills. I might do something with that. But yeah, so that's a full bucket full. If anyone's near Grantham and wants them, let me know. They can dry out quite happily for a few days, I think. So I've got, believe it or not, some that are in a little less state than that at the top there, which I'm just going to quickly snip. But from Xavier, down with the jaded jades on Jade Jeudi, I'll say farewell. God bless. Cheers.